Hello everyone, I'm Xiaoxi. The culture I choose is Japanese culture because Japanese culture is deeply influenced by Chinese culture, but it has been improved and innovated. These characteristics from the Japanese inherent negotiating skills. So what should we pay attention to when negotiating with the Japanese? Next, I will analyze what should be pay attention to when negotiating with Japanese people from the culture and characteristics of Japan and giving corresponding suggestion and negotiation skills. First of all, the Japanese have a strong sense of group and collective decision making. The Japanese people shaped by Japanese culture are based on collective. The churches in Japan belong individual wishes within the submit in the collective wishes. They take a long time to make decisions during the negotiations, which is influence of group consciousness. Because the Japanese must consult with other parts and the members of the company before making a proposal. This process is very cumbersome. But when the agreement was circulated in the company, it was already a collective decision agreed by all departments. Therefore, it takes a long time of Japanese to make decision, but once a decision is made, they act very quick. The second point is that the Japanese people attach great importance to building trust and interpersonal relationships. In business negotiation, if you have established a good personal friendship with Japanese people, especially if you win the trust of the Japanese people, the negotiation will be very easy. Therefore, when negotiating with Japanese companies, we must obtain Japanese parties before negotiations. Trust is the best way to find a reputable middleman. The intermediary can be a company, a well-known person, a bank, or a consulting organizations that provide service to the company and anything else. The intermediary plays an incalculable role in communication information between the two parties, strengthening contacts, and establishing mutual trust and friendship. Therefore, we find an intermediary before negotiating with the Japanese. Obtaining trust is a key to obtain the negotiation. The third point is that Japanese pay attention to etiquette and saving face. Japan is ceremonial society. Everything the Japanese do is subject to strict etiquette. If a region don't adapt Japanese etiquette or express their incomprehension, it is impossible to gain their trust and favor. Participating and understanding Japanese etiquette and being able to adapt well doesn't mean imitating their behavior, but understanding and respecting their behavior on the basis of understanding Japanese culture background. For example, when negotiating with Japanese, the exchange of business cards is indispensable ceremony. Before the negotiating, it is necessary to have the sufficient business card. We can use the reverse business cards to display our information in Japanese. If the Japanese party first hand us a business card, it is best to hold the business cards in your hand and confer the name of the other parties carefully, showing your respect for the other parties. If you received other parties' business cards and quickly forget the other party's name, it is very impolite. To save face is the most common mentality of Japanese. The Japanese never reject each other outright because Japanese is a high contact country. Japanese people always speak roundabouts and ambiguously. So when negotiating with Japanese, we can't just listen the superficial meaning. Maybe they just indirectly express their opposition. When negotiate with Japanese, we avoid bluntly rejecting with Japanese. If you have denied a suggestion or idea, express it as tactfully as possible. You can also state objective reason that you cannot accept or use an intermediary to negotiation apply these issues. Secondly, we must pay a great attention to the issues of gift giving. Giving various gifts is a most common phenomenon in Japanese society. Japanese tax is low encourage people to spend in this area because the gift-giving habits are deeply ingrained in Japan. The first point is that we must be patient when negotiating. The patience of Japanese is not only slow, but the preparation and careful decision making. For an ideal transaction, as long as they can achieve their desired goal and achieve better results, time is not the first for them. Patience enables the Japanese to be fully suggestions. Patience allows them to win every profit. Therefore, negotiating with Japanese, lacking patience or eager to achieve results, I am afraid that they will lose ground. When the Japanese are negotiating, it takes a long time to state their purpose. The Japanese will ask a question repeatedly because Japanese decision making is a collective, so we should be patient and get more information from it. When negotiating with the Japanese side, we can also ask more questions, which will make the other party doubt our own answer, or we can get the best answer and solutions before making concessions. We can restate our patience and wishes on the issues. We can make promises and promises. If we are dissatisfied with Japanese side requirements, you can try to be silent and give them a chance to think and share their position. That's all. Thank you, everyone.